Garden tour, August 20th, 2023. I've been getting a lot of rain recently, so stuff's growing pretty well. The tomatoes are not very happy about it, which you'll see shortly. You can see this cover crop mix of winter rye and peas is germinated, starting to come up. That's pretty cool. That'll be next year's cover crop slash mulch. Here's the last few romaine in this bed, which I'll harvest tomorrow. There's some puny scraggly kale, which I'm still harvesting from. See, the bugs are liking it. They don't seem to like the blue scotch, which is this type, whereas the red Russian or this stuff right here, I think it's called lacinato. I might be pronouncing that wrong. But the bugs certainly like those two varieties more than they like the blue scotch. Here is a cantaloupe that I stuck in here. I don't see any melons on it yet. We've got some at the other end of the garden that have got melons on them. As you can see here, maybe you can see, it's a little dark. Get a better angle at it. These last two pumpkins slash squash here on the end of these beds are starting to roam down onto the dried out winter rye. So I chopped out this little section right here, an hour ago. And tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing that I did down there. I'm going to put that winter rye and pea mixture here. As you can see over here, that winter rye and pea mixture has started to germinate underneath these. I think these are probably butternut squash here. A little spotty, so I'll probably do some overseeding of this tomorrow. And here's the spot where I had a big pile that I clipped out when I overseeded this original spot for the pumpkins and butternut squash to roam onto. And I spread all that out onto the lawn there. I don't know if you can see that well. Yeah, you can see that. I spread it all out, so because we're going to get it looks like 2 dry days here. So hopefully sitting in the sun today, and then tomorrow that'll dry out. I'll bag that up, put it behind the garage, and I'll use that to mulch my garlic later on this year. Let's head back this way. So we're starting to get some pumpkins and some squash. What have we got here? We've got some leeks that are coming along. Those are getting bigger. There's a pumpkin. I think that's probably a sugar pie pumpkin. There's a nice romaine. We'll harvest that tomorrow. There's another, I think this is a sugar pie. The watermelon are starting to sprawl. They're a little bit slower to get going. You can see a little watermelon here. There's a tiny one here. I don't know if that'll end up doing much. Probably not. And then over here, this is, I believe, a Jack-B little pumpkin. I don't see any fruit on it yet, though. There should be another one right here. No fruit yet. But over here, this is the spaghetti squash. You can see one of our first spaghetti squash right here. And the bell peppers are starting to produce. There's a couple. I can't remember what variety that is, but before too long we'll have bell peppers. And also, I think we'll have jalapenos for the market. There's a big jalapeno. A couple of those are ready. So that's cool. I think these are, this is what will be shishito peppers. I don't see any peppers yet. Some blossoms, so they're coming along. Here's a volunteer cherry tomato. One of the stronger tomatoes in the garden. There's some more peppers. What do we got here? That's jalapenos, I believe. Yep, a couple more jalapenos. What else did I see? Oh, I saw some of these, I think are probably a Carmen pepper, right there. I think that's a Carmen. I don't see any fruit on that one. So, the peppers are coming along. They'd like a little more heat. But they're still alive. I think we're going to get peppers. Here's a couple more bell peppers. Can't remember what color these are going to end up being, but we'll give them some time and they'll show us. Cucumbers are producing nicely. Here we go. Let's see if there's a cucumber in here. Yeah, there's some cukes. There's a cuke. I harvested the really big ones earlier because some of them are getting pretty big. Here's another, I think will be a spaghetti squash. This is my one original zucchini plant that's left. Doesn't look very happy. Maybe I'll get a zucchini off of it. Here's one of my original summer squash. I'm getting a little bit of summer squash off that. So that's a good deal. This is one of the original yellow zucchini plants. It's starting to produce. This original planting of squash didn't do so hot. The bugs got to it early. There's some Genovese basil. Here is some Thai basil. Or actually, this might be cinnamon basil. Yeah, it's Thai basil. Here is a getting pretty big and bushy nasturtium. Some parsley. There's another Thai basil swallowing up some of my first esterinas of the season. Those are always some of the first cherries to develop. Yeah, so as you can see here, most of my original planting of slicers and heirloom varieties are not doing well. A lot of blight, just too much water, you know. I put in an automated irrigation system this year and I've got a drip line here, but if it just rains every other day, you know, there's not too much I can do about it, unfortunately. But we'll get some tomatoes off of those. And I think the lower planting, the bush tomatoes, look like they might bail me out. So we'll see. As you can see, the ginger is doing really well. The ginger is multiplying quickly. So I like to see that. You can see here. This ginger has quite a few stems there. There's a volunteer oregano. Look at this ginger. Yeah, I'm not showing you. It's really loving it. It's doing pretty good. Here are, oh, there's a sun gold. These are looking pretty yummy. Fortunately, I lost some of them. We've had a couple really hard rainstorms in a row, so a lot of them got knocked off. These scarlet runner beans are really flowering. The beans are getting really big. It's a pretty prolific plant. Well, there's what will be the first, what's called a sweetie cherry variety. Got some pear cherries here. And again, these are the esterinas down here at the end. Got a little beech tree growing in the garden. The Roma beans are still doing okay. We're getting some beans here and there. Some blossoms still. the newer planting of beans. I'm not seeing any full-grown beans yet, but you know, you can see there's what will be some of the first beans in this patch. I'm ready, but I'm sure they'll be along here shortly. Here is my second planting of bell peppers over here. You can see something. I think it was a caterpillar of some sort was over here. I'm not sure, but I think it was, because I came out here right after the heavy rain and there were these moldy caterpillars on these plants. So they must have got like waterlogged and just died, but looks like they were the ones feeding on this, hopefully. But I don't know, it almost looks like a deer or something nibbled on them. You can see. But luckily, you can see there's still peppers on them. They're pretty resilient, so hopefully they'll come back. There's a cantaloupe in between, you can see here. Here are the bush tomatoes. Put them in, actually I'm going to get to the other side. Put them in these cages, oh I don't know, a month ago. They're looking pretty healthy, quite a few blossoms. So I'm hoping for good things from these tomatoes. They look like they're going to cooperate. Yeah, I still don't see any beans in this second planting here, but lots of blossoms, so very shortly we'll have a lot more beans. Here's my second planting of beets. Oh, look at that. Wow. These puppies are really coming along. There's some good beets in here already. Cool. I'm not even done with the first planting yet. You can see here is the second planting of carrots. Those are still sizing up. The leeks that I ran down the middle are coming along. Looks like some of the reseed that I did took, but not all of it. That bed over there is my second planting of yellow and green zucchini and summer squash. I went through today and gave it kind of an under trimming to allow some better airflow in the plant so they don't, oh man, that one broke. Wonderful. Well, sometimes you get a little too overzealous, but you know, I think they're going to stand back up now that I've cleaned out some of the under foliage. You can see there's some of the next zucchini. There's the old nasty purple cabbage bed that's been struggling since day one this year. The flea beetles just kicked its butt. Here is the Napa cabbage. Looks like that one's about to bolt, so I'll chop that out tomorrow. But there's some in here that are definitely harvestable. I got a few out of here last week. That one looks ready. That one does too. Yeah, it's Napa. Oh, that one is bolted, so we'll chop that one out of here tomorrow. I think we've got, oh yeah, there's another okra. Celery's looking real good. I got 3 of these bunches of celery out last week. Let's see a big one. Yeah, there's some nice looking celery. Yum. Not a huge seller, but it's really tasty. I eat it, whatever I can't sell. Alright, moving along here. We've got, so that there is a late planting of shishitos with some other various things planted down the middle. There's a cantaloupe, there's some random lettuce, there's some Thai basil, there's some kale in there. A little bit of everything. One of my favorite things to do, a little catch-all bed. Here is the second planting of green and purple cabbage. it looks slightly better than the original planting. Just not a great year for cabbage. The bugs really went wild. There's some kale in the middle, also some more lettuce stuck in there. Here's the first planting of green cabbage. We've got some in here that are just about harvestable. Yeah, I'll probably take that one to market tomorrow. Still getting beets out of the original planting. And we're still getting some carrots out of this original carrot planting. Get a few more weeks out of this bed. And here is, this is a flower bed slash cucumber, the second planting of cucumbers here. I also stuck some scallions in. Some lettuce up here that needed a home. You can see we've got, those are cosmos. Again, all those frilly looking leafed flowers are cosmos. Got a bunch of different cosmos here. And this is a flower called a gazania. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what the tag says. There's a different type of zinnia. The onions are really coming into their own. Here is my first lost cantaloupe. I came over here today and it was just mush. That's unfortunate, but you know, there's plenty more. Look at these suckers coming along. This one, well, I don't know if it'll be this one or the one up there, but they're in the running for first cantaloupe of the year. And the red onions are looking large and healthy. Oh yeah. Here's my old favorite, stevia. Let's see, here's the first, yeah, I planted this at the same time as the first cucumbers over there. I'm still getting cucumbers out of it, so that's a good deal. Look at these yellow onions. I think this is the variety Elsa Craig. Things are giant. There they are, right there. Look at that. That's gonna be yummy. And we've got more over here. These giant yellow onions. It's almost, I don't know, we'll give them a few more weeks, but those are almost ready to harvest. You can see I've got a friendly garden spider here. He's helping me keep down the bug population. Yeah, so let's take a trip through the onions here. We've got more cucumbers. These yellow onions are looking pretty big. Won't be too long now and we'll have more onions than we know what to do with. Then we've got our flower patch. The sunflowers are looking awesome. The zinnias in front of them are starting to come along. We've actually got some, this is a dahlia I planted. There's another dahlia. Yeah, there's some dahlias here and behind the zinnias. And we've got, like I said before, kind of like a two sisters type thing going on here, where the cucumbers are climbing the sunflowers. That's pretty cool. They provide beauty and a trellis at the same time. I'm pretty happy about that. So yeah, that's a quick trip around the garden. I also wanted to show this week, I upgraded my irrigation system a little bit this year. I installed a Wi-Fi timer on that runs my pump. So I have a pump in the bushes down there that pumps out of the river, and there's a pipe underground that runs up to about where that well is, and then the pump and it has an electrical wire that runs into the garage, and that plugs into a Wi-Fi timer. So I have the pump to set to run for 2 hours in the morning, and I was starting to run out of, not have enough water pressure to run all the sprinklers to hit all this garden at one time. So half of the garden runs for 1 hour, and the other half runs for another hour, for the second hour. And this Melnor 4-output mechanical water timer does that. So the timer in the garage runs the pump for 2 hours, and then after 1 hour, this switch right here switches from zone 1, which is the front of the garden, to zone 2, which is the back of the garden. Yeah, and that Wi-Fi timer has really given me some new functionality. If it's raining out early in the morning, I have an app on my phone that allows me to just shut the pump off. So that's the irrigation upgrade, and that's about the gist of it. Happy growing.